Welcome to Race 7 of the Endurance AI League Championship. Yeah, just 2 races to go here at Brands Hatch, and then after this we'll be going to Road Atlanta for a final race of the season, but we should obviously see where our points lie right now. So your overall standings, Phil Slow with a second, well, after getting a win at Road America, moves up into second. So it's a Magenta Trees top 2. Starpool, Chad Broski, AOC fell down in the standings after another not very great race. Then it's Winods, Cyrus, Springroll, Todoroki, Afton, Sillyman, and Sawman are tied. And then Frederick Pope had a really good race. He is the last driver still eligible for the championship. Everyone else just doesn't have enough points, mathematically are out. So that'd be Kaminari, Beast, Orange Chicken, Bob McFarlane, Bernie Sanders, and Mahavir Raghunathan. So here are your team standings. Magenta Tree still leads the championship, followed by the Baby Auto Parts and the Boa Colixes. Fickle Fat Racing, Silly Boys Inc., the Democratic Party, MHA Racing, Yum Yum Speed, Raghunathan Racing, the Norwals, and the Banshees. And then your manufacturer's points, McLaren, Porsche, Lamborghini, BMW, Ferrari, Mercedes, Ford. So some times have already been set. There's your track map right there. Not a lot of turns as us. Oh, we saw Raghunathan go off. As Springroll is on a very good lap, followed by September Cyrus a little bit farther back, who's also on a very good lap. Qualifying points are important, so you gotta get good with them. Have to make sure you're comfortable in the race, so your guys at the front, they're gonna need to qualify very well. About halfway, Springroll 3 pinks. Let's see where that puts him. I'd say it should easily take him to P1. Yeah, by about 3 seconds. The 67 is coming up next, but is currently being held up by the 463, one of your major championship contenders. Gotta see what happens here. The 42 is also on a good lap right behind. September Cyrus goes P1 with a 128.7, but Silly Man pulls out a 128.6 and goes P1. Spencer Alfredo, your championship leader, is on a very good lap, as Starpool, another one of your championship contenders, is on a hot lap. Goes P1 by about 3 tenths. Spencer Alfredo only jumps to 6. Winodes looked like he had a good qualifying speed, but just wasn't really there. Then Phil Slow has kind of dominated qualifying so far this season. There's only been a couple races where he hasn't qualified too good, and he's second in the championship. He's probably been the most consistent driver this season. He's gotten the top 5 at every single race besides Sebring. In all of his top 5s, only one of them was a first, but the rest were all 5ths. So he's gotten 4 5ths this season. So let's see what he can do today. As let's see where he will qualify. P2 by about 2 tenths off the leader. As the 120 pulls a good lap right at the end, but it's only good enough for 10th. Just was not fast enough. As Starpool gone pink in the 5th sector. He's currently P4, but he does have a yellow. So let's see where he's going to go. It takes him to P1 by about 300ths. As Spencer Alfredo, he has a pink, but has a couple of yellows. Looks like he was held up by Mahavir Raghunathan as Winodes goes P1 by about 3/10 with a 126.6. As the 002 is kind of having a good qualifying attempt, currently inside the top 10, as he goes second. Where did he come from? He's only off by about 2/10. The championship contender Phil Slow coming around the final couple turns. Gonna have to see where he goes. It's only good enough to take him up to P5. But it's still an improvement. September Cyrus went pink in the first sector, but has now been bumped down to a green, so someone is faster. AOC not really doing so hot in qualifying, currently 14th, which is very unlike AOC. So let's see, September Cyrus moves up to P5. AOC championship contender only goes 11th. As the 609 is on a good lap, currently down in 14th. Where's he gonna go? Oh, it's gonna be close. And it's good enough for P1 by over half a second. This could go very well for him in the championship, just extra points. Magenta Trees has got to be satisfied with that. Except they'd probably want Phil Slow to get onto the front row, but he has a pink, but that could be canceled out by 2 yellows. As the Beast goes P3, we haven't really seen him do too hot with qualifying, but that was pretty good. Spring Roll with a pink in the 5th sector, but could it be canceled out by the yellows? Let's see where Phil Slow goes. He does not improve. He'll get one more lap as Spring Roll shoots up to 4th. As AOC is now on a hot one. Goes green, but could get held up by the 67. AOC knocked down to 5th in the championship after some inconsistent runs. Only goes 3rd, out by about 7/10. As checkered flag, Spencer Alfredo has another pink, but he could be slowed down by the 4 yellows. Yeah, it's not an improvement, about a second slower. But I don't really think anyone is in great contention, except maybe Orange Chicken. He could actually be pretty close. Orange Chicken has a pink in that 3rd sector, but 4 yellows. So we're gonna have to see where he goes. He's currently 8th, which I think will be, his 2nd best qualifying of the season. Maybe even his best, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, definitely not P1. And it is not an improvement either. I think Spencer Alfredo just secured some extra points by getting the pole. That's about plus 35 for him. As Bob McFarland actually had a pink in the last sector. He's currently 5th. Looks like no one else is going to improve their time. So let's take a look at your starting grid. I know it says EAIL Championship standings, but nobody cares. Nobody looks at it. Everyone's looking at the grid. So Spencer Alfredo gets yet another pole this season. So that's going to be some good points for him. Then Winnows, who's kind of been doing pretty well recently, will start alongside him. In row 2, we have AOC, another major championship contender, right next to the Beast, who's kind of struggled this season. Row 3, Bob McFarland and Spring Roll. Spring Roll is just barely eligible. Bob McFarland, however, is not. He joined late. Frederick Pope is the last driver still eligible. He joined late, so he's going to need a miracle to be able to win the championship, but it's definitely not impossible. Then Orange Chicken with a pretty good qualifying, starting in P8. So now everyone on back was at least a second off Spencer Alfredo's pace. Starpool, will be ninth, currently third in the championship. And then Silly Man is gonna be in P10. September Cyrus and another championship contender, Chad Broski in P12. He's not been doing too hot in qualifying, especially of late, and that's kind of been slowing him down. Um, Row 7, Denki Kaminari and William Afton. Kaminari not eligible for the championship. Then Phil Slow starting all the way back here in 15th. It's not at all what he wanted. That's going to be definitely an uphill battle. He is currently second in the championship. Then Salman's going to go right next to him. Row 9, Shoto Todoroki and Mahavira Gunathan. And then rounding out your field is Bernie Sanders. Not really been too high on qualifying. But as long as you're good in the race, I guess that trumps all. So, now we're going to take a look at your race info. 70 degrees, a very nice day. The track temp, however, is very hot. We're over in the United Kingdom this race. 2.42 mile track, but it does not have a lot of turns, only 9 counted ones. But I will tell you, you're gonna have to be aware because anything could happen, because during qualifying we didn't really touch on this at all because there was very close battles for pole, but a lot of cars were going off track. I think we saw Mahavir Raghunathan go off track, and that was about it. But yeah, a lot of cars have been sliding all over, so this race could very just come down to whoever's remaining. So partly cloudy, 44% humidity, and then 10 miles per hour wind, so it's pretty windy, but not too windy. But you can definitely feel the wind in the cars. In other news, I think Lamborghini has got to be like pretty happy because they're going for the manufacturers championship, and they got drivers in first, second, and fourth just in qualifying. So team to win, maybe. But I think AOC's qualifying performance in the Porsche will definitely help. Except AOC has had a lot of speed, probably I'd say have been the fastest car this season, but has been the most inconsistent. If you got rid of all the crashes, AOC would have probably been in first place. So, just gotta try and just finish the race on the lead lap. Road America did not go too well. Watkins Glen did not go well. Red Bull Ring did not end well. So it's had kind of a down streak the last few races. And then at the start of the season, Daytona cost them the win after sliding a lot. Had a couple incidents at Sebring, so only really perfect race for AOC this season was at Spa. So pace car about to roll off. I feel like this race is going to be very intense, especially with how Spencer Alfredo qualified. I think all the other championship contenders, so Phil Slow, Starpool, Chad Broski, and AOC, are all going to want to try and get around them and have a sizable gap. Spencer Alfredo has not really been the fastest car this season, but has definitely been the most consistent. Only really had one major mess up, and that was at Road America last weekend. Was leading the race and then crashed, which then handed the win to his teammate. So I guess Magenta Trees had some mixed feelings about their drivers. Spencer Alfredo has been confirmed to be competing in UAL 4, Season 4, as well as his teammate Phil Slow. So, right after this season ends, about a week after, they're going to have to adjust to a whole new car. Spencer Alfredo has raced in UAL. Magenta Trees as a team only got one win in UAL ever, and that was with Spencer Alfredo. So now he's going to be back. He will be in the 77. Phil Slow will be in the 07. Now, Winnows, it's going to be interesting to see how he does at the start, because Brands Hatch, the first turn, it's a medium speed turn, so it's not really the best passing opportunity at the start. And we're going to have to see if AOC will try and dive it in to try and make the pass work. Spencer Alfredo is going to have a lot of pressure from behind at the start, and it's going to get very intense. And then the Beast in 4th, he just wants a good result after a bad season. So here we go, pace car pulls off. Here they go, up to speed, around the kind of final curve turn, as now here they go into turn 1. Winnows already dropping back to 4th. He'll actually be battling back there. Bob McFarland still having to go side by side with him. Still side by side. First 3 turns, a very good battle for third, but they've finally gotten into single file. The Beast went down a spot. Bob McFarland went up 2 at the start, so very good for him. AOC is trying to close in on the 609. About 6 tenths back now, 7 tenths. I think it's going to be a very eventful race, as Bob McFarland, we're hearing a little report about he went off track just a little, but he came back on. Still maintains 3rd position, but falling back behind the leaders by about 2 seconds already. AOC trying to stay with Spencer Alfredo, but it seems like she is just being outpaced by the 609. We see back here some intense battling. I see Springroll dive to the inside of Frederick Pope. The pass did not quite work, as it seems like Bob McFarland is holding up the drivers back here, maybe to try and help his teammate Frederick Pope, because currently how it's going right now, that will not help Frederick Pope towards the championship. Winnows gonna have to try and go around, as Frederick Pope is under fire from Springroll, but could get around the Beast very soon. Winnows just staying right there behind McFarland, hoping he can catch him on a slip. And here we go around the final turn. It's kind of like a curved sweeping turn onto the front stretch. A 125 free from Spencer Alfredo that lap. Frederick Pope under fire from Springroll, Ford versus Ford. Frederick Pope will hold him off, at least for now. Winnows is closing back in on McFarland. Gonna have to see how this goes. So it seems like this whole back part of the course, it seems like AOC just slightly catches up to Spencer Alfredo. But then it's like the back half of the course. And then the front half of the course, Spencer Alfredo outpaces her. Well, right now it's about even, but they've just kind of been stuck at a 2-second gap this whole time. Just winnowed still. Not really letting Bob McFarland go too far away. Everyone's pretty in the midfield, pretty evenly spaced out. Spring roll trying to get a draft. Can't get around. There's not a lot of passing opportunities at this track. So whenever you see one, you gotta go for it. Now, Spencer Alfredo, I think with where he is right now, he could, or, well, I don't really think so. I think he'd need a very big amount, but at least with where he is right now, he's got a 3-second lead on AOC. That will put him in a very comfortable position at Road Atlanta. Now, obviously, he can't just mess around and not do anything with it. Like, he's obviously gotta try and make sure he keeps that speed good. As we have 2 cars going off track, seems like Todoroki did some off-roading, and Bernie Sanders spun it around. About a 2.7 second gap, just a little bit faster from Spencer Alfredo yet again. Frederick Pope trying to get around the Beast, who has been holding very well this race. It's been a rough season for that 666 team. Usually that team in EAIL, they had it figured out. They're always a championship threat. But it just seems like this season they've really just struggled. As Bernie Sanders has entered pit road, may have gotten some damage from the incident. And Frederick Pope, it definitely doesn't seem like he'll win the championship. He'd need literally a miracle. But that still does not mean he just can't win races. He can still be competitive. As, oh, the Beast has gone off track. He said he had been holding very well, but he lost a couple spots right there. He's now dropped down to 7th. As of now, that he is the biggest loser of this race so far. Biggest mover. It's only a tie between Frederick Pope and Bob McFarland, up 2 spots. As AOC is significantly faster that lap. A 125.7. Spencer Alfredo, what I've kind of noticed from him is he kind of sets into a race pace. It's not very fast, but it helps him get to the end, where AOC has been like full speed ahead, no holding back, and just, it does not usually end well. AOC's only really great race was the race where she started up front and dominated the whole thing. As she is now within half a second already. Spencer Alfredo definitely trying to keep track of either the tires or the fuel. Or just knowing he's in a pretty comfortable spot and shouldn't mess it up. I mean, if I was Spencer Alfredo, obviously you'd want to win, but you also have to think championship-wise. Whereas Bob McFarland, who's in 3rd, if he takes the lead, he's obviously just going to be thinking about the championship. as Winodes. As we speak of McFarland, he is now under fire from Winodes. Yeah, there's not a lot of great passing opportunities here at Brands Hatch, but it is still a very challenging track. You just gotta get it completely right. As Bob McFarland has gone way off track. I don't know if he hit the wall, but he only loses one spot, may even lose a second to his teammate, as he stays just ahead. As, oh, Winodes has had an off at the hairpin, and it's gone all wrong. He gets it fired again, but he is now down in 17th. What seemed to be a very promising run now looks like complete doo-doo. So Bob McFarland ended up keeping his position, except now it's a little bit closer between, well, actually it's kind of farther between him and Pope, which is the 4th place car, but he's now farther off the leader, so he's gonna need to hope from some misfortune there, as Spencer Alfredo is gaining his gap back. It's already back up to just over 2 seconds, but is going down just a little bit. So it's a game of cat and mouse at the front, as we are about a third of the way in. As, oh! There goes Spencer Alfredo into the wall. Disaster. He gets it back going, however. I think he lucked out of that one. Whew. Does not look like he took any damage. That turn 2 is difficult. So now it's about a 3-second gap, but it was just a couple seconds ago, 3.3, so I think Spencer Alfredo is doing faster as the Beast has crashed. Oh, he's spun it around. Will he be able to get it going? No, it looks like he's stalled. Again, it has gone all wrong for the 666. Orange Chicken has been having a great race. I think this is, as of now, his best race. The Beast has actually got going again, just down in 18th. As, oh, Frederick Pope has done some off-roading. He'll lose a spot. Everyone is having issues. Right on time. Chaos. So we're going to see if Spencer Alfredo is going to work to try and get that gap back down again. Or if he's just going to be content with where he is. Like, he does not want to be fighting McFarland right now. That'd be worst case scenario. As Spring Roll has now crashed. Oh, that's a pretty big incident. Let's go back and see what happened. Was it 2 sec? I think McFarland was already in the wall, and then Spring Roll just came in hot. So it was 2 separate incidents. That looks like one major incident, as now it seems like McFarland has gotten stuck on the curb. As, yeah, he did get stuck on the curb. Very unfortunate. As the gap between AOC and Spencer Alfredo is going back down. Even though it seems like it should be more, as, oh, AOC has gone off track, but still manages to stay ahead of Spencer Alfredo, but the gap has gone down. Three tenths. AOC has lost that speed. Or just lost it, I should say. Oh, how's this gonna go? They both make it through just fine. as everyone's going off. Several cars are going off around the track. I see Springroll and Mahavir Raghunathan in the last turn. Seems like Springroll got going again, so everything is happening at the same time, and we can't just focus on one driver. So your current top three: AOC, Spencer Alfredo, Frederick Pope. And an Orange Chicken in a top 5 run right now. I'd say that's a success. He hasn't really had a great season so far, but we've seen that if he can piece it together, it goes very well. Seems like that's what's happening today. Obviously, the race is not over, but still, very good run. Your biggest mover so far is Phil Slow, up 7 spots. His gap has gone back down between the leaders, as Raghunathan is now in pit road, as well as McFarland and Sanders. Sanders has not gone back out yet, so must have had a very serious issue. As Starpool seems to have had an issue at the hairpin. That is not good, as he is a championship contender. He seems to be stuck on the curb, or is either waiting for everyone to go by, as right up here, Spencer Alfredo is battling with AOC for the lead. And Phil Slow is now lurking his way back into a good spot where he can still go for the championship next race. I told you it was going to be a race of survival, and that's what it's been so far. We're only halfway. Your top 5 as of now: AOC, Spencer Alfredo, Frederick Pope, Orange Chicken, and September Cyrus. Your major championship contenders: first is AOC, second is Spencer Alfredo, Chad Broski 6th, Phil Slow 7th, as Spencer Alfredo tried looking around the outside, but he'll think otherwise, as, oh, that is lap traffic up ahead. That is AOC's teammate of Bernie Sanders. Will Bernie Sanders let AOC by? The Beast has had another issue back in the woods. Oh, this is very close. Frederick Pope is getting close. Someone's got to try and make a move. Seems like AOC may be let by. Spencer Alfredo could get held up. But Spencer Alfredo gonna try and dive it in. Bernie Sanders is not helping him. Obviously, he has one goal, and that was to help his teammate, as Spencer Alfredo could be caught by Frederick Pope. He's now falling back, but he is looking for a move down in the final turn, but still just isn't quite there with Bernie Sanders. I think he'll be able to do it on the front stretch, as Bernie Sanders almost knocked him off the track. Gotta outbrake him. Just gotta be aggressive enough to do something crazy. As Sawman is coming into pit road, Spencer Alfredo gets around, almost goes into the dirt, but keeps it on the track. He is wheeling it, but he's got pressure from behind. We've seen what pressure has done in previous races. A 4-second gap between AOC and Spencer Alfredo. Oh Lord, it's getting close. Spencer Alfredo, obviously with where he is right now, and the amount of points he has over, just a quick show just to see how far behind AOC is. There's a lot on the screen right now, but AOC is over about 125 back, just a little bit over, so AOC will still have a lot of work to do at Road Atlanta if it finishes like this, as we already have only about 10 minutes to go, as Chad Broski is trying to knock on the top 5 just to get up there in the championship battle. Phil Slow is also there. Spencer Alfredo closing back in on AOC, so we could have a close finish at the end. What Spencer Alfredo is really hoping for right now is, well, right now he'd actually be very mixed, because that'd be giving his closest championship rival, Phil Slow, extra points. But it could help with team standings, and yeah, so there's got to be mixed feelings right there, as there's a lot of things going on just down here. Phil Slow now trying to battle with Bernie Sanders to get around, as Silly Man has now had an issue, as AOC has gone off track, I'm hearing, but got it back going again, so wasn't too major, but that's a time loser right there. AOC almost spun it in the final turn. That car was all over the place. Just a race for survival. As, oh, we have Chaos, Denki Kaminari involved. William Afton and Bernie Sanders have collided. What has happened here? Kaminari involved. So Sanders spun. Kaminari was in the way, and then Afton hit him at the last second, it seems. Oh, just slow car in the way. As Orange Chicken is under pressure from September Cyrus, while September Cyrus is under pressure from Chad Broski. This could get exciting up at the front. Or not even at the front. This is like P4 to 7 on the screen right now. Todoroki's about 10 seconds back, and then Frederick Pope is about 4 seconds up. As, oh, Orange Chicken has gone around. But he gets it back going. That'll lose him a couple spots, but I think he'd still be on track for his best result. That helps Phil Slow and Chad Broski in the championship. Not what Spencer Alfredo has wanted, as they are all very close together going into this first turn. Phil Slow on the inside of Chad Broski. But Chad Broski slots in just on time, while Spencer Alfredo has closed the gap to AOC by about a second and a half now. We'll keep a good watch on that, as we have a lot of cars in pit road because of issues. As, oh, September Cyrus has gone off track. Where is that 67? Very far off, but got it going? I'm not quite sure. That's gotta be a penalty for cutting the course, as AOC has gone off and marked September Cyrus as first, but that is definitely gotta be not correct. As now Spencer Alfredo is back in the lead, I think. That can't be right. I think September Cyrus may get a penalty for cutting the course. This is very strange, but all I know is Spencer Alfredo just lucked out by AOC going off track yet again, as September Cyrus has crashed again, so I think it was all for nothing, even though there wasn't really anything done. So now Spencer Alfredo is back into the lead as September Cyrus is stuck backwards and will probably also have to serve a penalty, so September Cyrus not in great contention. Spencer Alfredo now back up in the lead by about a second. He's going to have to defend with his life because he's got Frederick Pope right behind him, and Pope will not back off. Pope's trying to go for a championship, even though it's very unlikely. But unlikely still means possible. So about 5 minutes to go. It's gonna have to watch that 998 as AOC probably may end up in mathematical elimination after this race, or at best just very far out, as Phil Slow could be psyching up a pass on Chad Broski. Phil Slow currently in his trademark spot of P5. He's finished 5th every single race besides 2, and he got a 12th at Sebring and a 1st at Road America. Those were his only 2 of those results, as I think September Cyrus has come into pit road to serve her penalty for absolutely cutting the course. Literally cut the whole woods section. I've never seen anything like that. The only other driver I've seen to absolutely cut the course this season, or just ever with AI, was Spring Roll back at Daytona. About a second gap between Frederick Pope and Spencer Alfredo. 4 minutes left. I don't know how many laps that is until we see like 2 to go. I think we have about 12 cars on the lead lap. I think September Cyrus is going a lap down right now, as we have some chaos in the wood section with Todoroki and Sawman, pretty sure. This race truly has been something. So about a second and a half between Frederick Pope and Spencer Alfredo. He's just not closing it. As AOC may even get caught by Broski and Phil Slow. Phil Slow back into a position where he can attack Broski. He's got a draft up on him. Oh, he's gonna have to go the long way around. How will this work? Seems to have gone not too great, but it could have ended a lot worse. Chad Broski and Phil Slow knocking on the door of a podium. But just hasn't gone quite right just yet. As the Beast is now back into pit road. I don't know why. Phil Slow up 10 spots since the start of the race. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'd say we got about 3 laps to go. So there's definitely still time for Frederick Pope. All he just needs is a mistake from Spencer Alfredo. Because obviously if Spencer Alfredo messes up now, Frederick Pope is just close enough to be able to get a bye. What I've seen with some of the situations is like 2 seconds. They lose about 2 seconds of time. At least if it's just very minor. If it's something like a spin, that's a bit more than 2 seconds, but if it's a simple going off track. So I think Frederick Pope still is in a situation where he can win, as Broski is trying to battle that 463 for a podium. Maybe even knock the 463 out of the championship hunt entirely. How's this gonna end? So 1 minute left. I think this will actually be the white flag this time. One more lap to go for Spencer Alfredo. That'd be his second win this season. Third for the team, as Orange Chicken has had an issue in the final turn, as Spencer Alfredo chokes. He sends it into the wall as Frederick Pope takes the lead. Oh no! Spencer Alfredo, he chokes it at the last second. 1 lap to go. That will surely give Phil Slow the lead of the championship. Oh my god. As Frederick Pope only has a couple turns left and he'll get his first win. Spencer Alfredo drops out of the top 10. Oof, that was a lot of curb that Frederick Pope just took. But Spencer Alfredo's misfortune is Frederick Pope's treasure. 1 turn left. Oh, he almost went off track. As there's chaos at the back. There's a lot of cars going off. Frederick Pope wins, as we have a lot of carnage going on. AOC will finish second. Chad Broski in third, and I think Phil Slow will now be your championship leader. Spencer Alfredo chokes it. I think he'll come home 12th. I don't know how to feel. That race was just chaotic. I told you it was going to be a race about survival, and it was. Frederick Pope is your winner. Oof. There was a lot that happened in those final couple laps. And I'm still just trying to digest it. So Frederick Pope is your winner. That is his first win of the season. AOC still not out of the championship after finishing second. Chad Broski will round out your podium. Phil Slow will take the championship lead. And Denki Kaminari, just out of pure chaos, will get his first top 5 of the season. His best finish up to this point was 10th. So let's take a look at your final result. Frederick Pope takes the win by about 7 seconds. Followed up by AOC, Chad Broski, Phil Slow, Denki Kaminari, Shoto Todoroki, Starpool, Sawman, Orange Chicken, Spring Roll, Spencer Alfredo, and Anthony Winod's. The result is disputed right now. Some things are telling me that it was Spencer Alfredo that finished 11th. Some are telling me it's Winod's that finished 11th. Bob McFarland will finish 13th. September Cyrus will finish 14th. William Afton 15th. The Beast looked like it could have been a good race, but he choked it. he finishes 16th. Silly Man 17th, Bernie Sanders 18th, and then Lord and Savior Mahavir Raghunathan rounds out the field. So how is that for a penultimate race? I think the championship is going to be very tight going into Road Atlanta. Just Spencer Alfredo is having such a clean season and has choked it the last two races, was leading and then crashed. Just absolutely bizarre, and I feel like he's got to get it together because he cannot be doing that at Road Atlanta. Uh, obviously. I think that's got to be the first time he's lost the lead of the championship since the Red Bull Ring, because I'm 100% sure that Phil Slow has taken it. Well, anyways, there's just one race left. It's at Road Atlanta. The Endurance Cup will be back, and all the championships will be decided. So if you want to see the point standings after this race, join the Discord. It'll be in the description, and I'll see you in the finale.